This video features the best brawlers you need to be playing for each modifier and ranked. If for some reason these brawlers aren't banned, you need to be picking them because they are completely dominating the meta. Alright guys, the first modifier we're going to be talking about is going to be Gadgets Galore. All brawlers gadgets have unlimited uses. However, the cooldown between uses is increased from 5 to 15 seconds. Now the first brawler we're going to be talking about for Gadgets Galore is going to be Buster. Now Buster is great in this modifier because of his slow-mo replay gadget. The thing about this gadget is that it can serve multiple different purposes. You can disarm the enemy to cause them to drop the ball in Brawl Ball, and this might catch the enemy off guard and potentially save your team from a goal being scored. You can even use this gadget to pull enemies closer to you that are trying to chase down and kill your teammates. By using this gadget and pulling the enemies towards you, you can relieve a lot of pressure from your teammates, especially if they're playing glass cannon brawlers that are squishy or can deal a lot of damage close up. If you can pull multiple opponents as well, that's just more value you are getting from every gadget. Now probably the best way to use this gadget is to pull enemies closer to you so you can deal more damage to them. This is great because with Buster, the closer the enemies are to him, the more damage you're going to be able to deal onto them. Since you have an infinite amount of gadgets, this is going to help you get more kills and get those kills even quicker. But okay, the next brawler for Gadgets Galore is going to be Gus. Now Gus is amazing in this modifier because of his gadget Cookie Popper. Cookie Popper is so good because you can deal 20 to 40 damage right as the ghost spawns to defeat weak enemies. It's kind of like RT's Quick Maths gadget, but this one does even more damage. So having more than 3 or 4 of these throughout a match is going to be very good. The amount of pressure that this gadget can cause is also going to be good for area control. Think about it, if you can spawn in a bunch of ghosts around the map, then you can have like a minefield of ghosts to scare the enemies away. The opponents aren't going to want to walk near them if they are low, knowing that you could just use your gadget and pop them down. It's an underrated way to utilize this gadget. Now something that I actually learned recently is that you don't have to always use this gadget to get a confirmed kill. After watching the World Finals, the pros were even using this gadget to just deal damage normally just to lower the enemies down. This way it forced their target to play more passively since they didn't have a lot of health. It's another way to gain pressure and make the enemies play more cautiously. But okay, the next brawler for Gadgets Galore is going to be Piper. Now with Piper, one of the best ways to use this gadget is obviously when the enemies are one shot away from dying. Piper's homemade recipe gadget can be used to defeat low health enemies hiding behind walls or to increase the chances of hitting an enemy at low health just to guarantee their defeat. Now another time you can use homemade recipe is when the enemies are just slightly outside of your own main attack range. Piper can also take advantage of the extra range from her gadget to finish off enemies that are out of her main attack range. This is great to catch enemies off guard since they'll think they're safe, but in reality they're gonna get cooked. Now an amateur mistake I see with a lot of Piper players is they wait to use this gadget. When using homemade recipe, you don't want to give the enemies time to react. Use it immediately after you connect onto an enemy and you know they're within one shot. This will give the enemy less time to react and a higher chance of your gadget hitting them. Now some honorable mention brawlers you can also run in Gadgets Galore is going to be Mortis, Sandy, and Colette. But okay, the next rank modifier we're going to be talking about is going to be Sick Beats. With this modifier, all brawlers become immune to stuns, slows, and knockbacks. Now the first brawler you guys need to be using in Sick Beats is going to be Carl. Now the reason why Carl is one of the best inside of Sick Beats is because you can't cancel out his super. If you can manage to heal up all the way before using your super, then there should be no way you die before killing the enemy since your super can't be interrupted. This easily makes Carl one of the strongest brawlers to pick in this modifier. Now something that can even enhance Carl in this modifier is running his protective pirouette star power. With this star power, you will be given a damage reduction shield, reducing all incoming damage by 35%, and that can help you stay alive against high bursting, close range brawlers. Without this star power, Carl would get shredded down so much quicker, especially in this tank heavy meta. Now yes, using Carl's super is great to get kills, but you can even use it to cause pressure onto the enemies. With the shield that you gain from protective pirouette, this will cause the enemies to fall back and try to avoid your super as much as possible. The presence alone of Carl can relieve stress off of your team and make regaining control of the map much easier. Alright guys, the next brawler for Sick Beats is gonna be Daryl. Now in case you guys have been living under a rock, the reason why Daryl is so good not just in Sick Beats but in the meta in general is because he can hold 2 supers now. This allows Daryl to make insane plays like rolling double the distance to get to where he needs to be. This makes Daryl more versatile and has easily shotted him up from being one of the worst brawlers in the meta to now being one of the best brawlers in the game. Now with Daryl being a shotgun brawler, you need to be using his super to get closer to the enemies. Now you can use his super for multiple different purposes, such as quickly escaping enemies or dangerous situations, or even getting closer to the enemies. It's also great that Daryl rolls extremely quickly and can be shielded while rolling thanks to his star power. And of course we can't forget that Daryl has a trait where his super charges automatically. This will make it even easier for Daryl to cycle his supers. And now with the recent update, Daryl is even better than before because of his brand new hypercharged barrel of bullets. With this hypercharge, Daryl shoots his shotguns around himself during a barrel roll. Now even though the hypercharge itself isn't that impressive, being able to have the additional stat buffs from the hypercharge will only make Daryl stronger and make his ability to annihilate the enemies even easier. But okay, the next brawler for sick beats is gonna be Mortis. Mortis is crazy in sick beats because of his hypercharged blood boomerang. When activated, Mortis's super now returns back to him, dealing a second wave of damage and healing. I mean, the fact that his super can now return to him will help him get more kills and heal up even faster. This can be amplified even more if you can get kills with this creepy harvest star power. Like, Mortis will be unstoppable. Now as somebody that doesn't really like to play Mortis that much, but I gotta admit that Mortis is being played more than ever before. Mortis is excellent at performing team wipes, especially with either gadget and his creepy harvest star power. If the enemies are grouped up, you can ambush them, use your gadget, and chain supers. The healing from his super and creepy harvest ensures that he stays alive. Hitting multiple enemies with his super also helps him survive longer and heal even more. Now if you're like me, you're not really the greatest Mortis player in the world, but you want to abuse him because he's pretty good, you gotta use his super as a 4th attack when you run out of ammo. I would recommend using your super when Mortis is low on health and needs to heal quickly, or when the enemy is low on health and you can't reload and attack in time. Just try not to use Mortis' super as a 1st attack unless you are very low on health. Of course, you need to try and hit as many enemies as possible with Mortis' super so that he can recover more health and chain up his super much quicker. What's great is that Mortis' super has considerable range and travels pretty fast if you're using his mythic gear Bat Storm. This can be pretty viable when you need to snipe low health brawlers, especially through walls. Now some honorable mention brawlers you guys can also run as sick beats is going to be Frank, Rosa, and Meg. But okay, the next rank modifier we're going to be talking about is going to be Quickfire. This modifier passively reloads brawlers ammo whenever their attacks hit enemy brawlers and special targets. Now the first brawler you guys need to be using in Quickfire is going to be Gale. Gale is such a great brawler because he can counter any aggressive brawler within the meta. Now these are the brawlers that are extremely dangerous at close ranges, so if you can use your super so that they are not within range of you anymore, then you and your teammates will have the range advantage against them. Also try and use your super onto multiple enemies if possible. You want to get as much value as you can no matter who you are playing in Brawl Stars, but when you have a super as good as Gale's is, it's good to push away more than one enemy if you can. Now something that can also help Gale deal with aggressive brawlers in this meta is running his Twister gadget. Since this gadget will only work if the enemies walk into the tornado, then you want to use it as a defensive tool to prohibit the enemies from pursuing a kill onto you. Also, if you place the gadget in an area where the enemies need to cross in order to get to the objective, it will make them waste time to either wait until the gadget is done or run around to a different lane. But the true reason why Gale is pretty good inside of Quickfire is because of his hypercharged blizzard. When activated, Gale's super is now 2 tiles wider and creates 2 gusts of wind and snow, which pushes enemies further away than usual. The amount of damage that it can deal helps him shred down the enemies even quicker. Can't forget about the stat buffs he gets from the hypercharge, making him even stronger in Quickfire. Alright, the next brawler you guys gotta be playing in Quickfire is gonna be Gene. Now since Gene's attack has a very wide spread angle, it makes him very effective at checking bushes. And this is also where running the vision gear comes in very handy. Gene's scouting is unmatched, and especially when combining it with the vision gear, the enemies will have no shot at being able to hide from your team. This can be useful on most of the gem grab maps in the rotation like Gem Fort and Hard Rock Mine, where there are a lot of bushes. Having constant vision of where the enemies are will make it even more difficult for the enemies to make a play. What I personally love about using Gene's Jean's main attack is to chip away and just poke away at the enemies, preventing them from healing up. Now you can't lie, Jean's ability to chip away at the enemies from a distance is one of the most annoying things about his entire kit. You want to always keep your distance and slowly lower the enemy's health or just prevent them from healing up in general. Now in playing Jean, it's important that you are supporting your teammates, so make sure that you are running his Magic Puff star power. With this star power, you need to stick to at least one of your teammates at all times so they can passively heal while they attack. This will allow your team to gain more control and pressure since they won't have to stop attacking in order to heal. This will make it easier for your team to passively heal while they are trying to win their lane or trying to maintain control of the gem mine throughout the match. But okay, the next brawler you guys need to be playing in Quickfire is going to be Crow. Now with Crow, kinda like Jean, you need to take advantage of his range by poking away at the enemies. Attack from a distance and back off to chip away at an enemy's health to charge Crow's super. While poking, use Crow's fast movement speed to dodge incoming fire. Although poking deals moderate damage each time, especially because other brawlers are more effective in longer range combat than Crow, poking will slowly defeat the enemy and hinder any healing. Now even without Quickfire, Crow has a pretty fast unload speed and a very fast reload speed, so playing him in Quickfire is going to make him completely broken. This will allow Crow to constantly apply poison and regular damage on the enemies, preventing them from healing and charging up his super all the while. Especially in Quickfire, this is going to help Crow reload even faster and just preventing the enemies from healing that much more. Now just like Jean as well, you need to be using Crow's main attack to scout bushes. Always make sure you are scouting bushes with Crow because he doesn't have a lot of health. You don't want to get surprised by a bush camping Edgar that's waiting for you to walk by. To make your life even easier, I recommend using the extra toxic star power so the enemies will be dealing less damage to you and your teammates throughout the match. Now some honorable mention brawlers you guys can also use in Quickfire is going to be Griff, Colt, and Max. Well anyway guys, if you guys enjoyed that ranking video, I highly recommend you guys go check out this video right here.